So it's lovely to meet you, and I really wanted to find out what actually inspired you to apply to AWEC in the first place.
Okay, so nice to meet you, Uzo. What inspired me, I guess, was the realization of the need that I need to be part of a space that encourages me to take my business to the next level. I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we sort of fall into our businesses. It'd be nice to hear your story at one point, but we're not all, have that dream from the onset that we're definitely going to be running our business, and we find ourselves in this situation where we are learning as we are doing. And when I heard of AWEC, it was actually through, I think, somebody who was a mentor in the first year and just said, this program will be great for you. I looked into it and I researched it and I thought, yeah, absolutely, I need to be part of a space like this. There wasn't as much information as there is now for you, or there was for you in Cohort, for the development of African women in a very collaborative, sisterly based manner that really helps us structure our businesses and take them to the next level. I think I've tasted your chocolates, by the way, if you were in Kenya, because I got chocolate given to me that was from Nigeria. So they were very nice.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah, they were lovely. I think I had something that had a slightly salted tone to it. It was very, very nice.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, tell me what inspired you. No, it was lovely. Chocolates are always a hit, and when they taste good. So tell me what inspired you to apply to.
Okay, so I had it was actually a friend that was in cohort 3, and we got to meet each other on Instagram, and we got talking. And she said, there was this program that she applied for and that she thought would be really good for me. So I said, okay, fine. I had just attended one entrepreneurship program and I really liked that one. And, I was looking for more. I was hungry for more. Let me put it that way. And that one it was more of a local program because it was just Nigerian participants. But, she told me that AWEC was, Africa-wide. So that really got me interested. And then I applied. But I didn't get in. I didn't get in on my first application. Yes, I didn't get in on my first application. But I was happy that I didn't even get in on my first application, because when I compare my first application to the second application, I could see why I was rejected, right? I wasn't ready for the program. Yeah, I wasn't ready for the program at all. So on the second try, I got in. Oh my God, you can imagine, after you've been rejected once and then you have success the next time, the success is even more precious. I don't know if you know
Definitely.
That it's more precious. So, and I mean, I personally, I wasn't even prepared for, what I eventually met, the structure of the program, the program content, how rich it was. I wasn't prepared for it. Even the discipline, the very first month, I don't know how it was for cohort 1, but for us, the very first month was focused on priming us for the program itself. We talked about time management. We talked about working in teams, working remotely. Like, it prepared us. So we didn't even get into the business content immediately. It took time to prepare us to, be effective in the program, to utilize the program effectively. So what was there anything that you were sort of surprised by? Was there anything you wish you had known before you applied for the program?
I think it's a two-part question. I hope you can still hear me well. My connection's a bit all over the place. I think it could be a good thing that I didn't know about it, but there's a part of me that wishes that I had known. And that's just a little bit more preparation in terms of like having a base or a foundation of understanding your business as you approach certain tasks. So I think back in our days, we didn't have that sort of transitory approach to time management and maybe some of the softer skills at the initial part. We went straight into business, and so there was a lot going on, which was great because the speed kept us engaged. The challenges were good. You can imagine women entrepreneurs like a good challenge. So when we provided a task that was a bit tough to handle, we enjoyed that. But I think I would have liked to have sort of some of my business data in order that would have helped me approach some of the tasks and activities with a little bit more set. Obviously, not having them in order and approaching the tasks meant that I had to get them in order during the journey and certainly prior afterwards. So that could also be a really good intentional way of identifying, if you're not thinking about that, this is something that you should be thinking about. This is the kind of data you should be generating. This is how you should make this decision. So yeah, it certainly didn't hold me back. But it's always nice to be a little bit prepared for anything that you take part in. What about you? Is there anything that stands out for you as something that you really wish you'd known before you joined?
Because it was really intense. So, but every other thing, I was like a blank canvas. I was just waiting to learn. I just really wanted to learn and to network. So, I mean, any surprise would have been fine, but I really wasn't prepared for the intensity because it was quite intense. And thinking about what you just said now, right? Going through the program and realizing that there are things you should be prioritizing, but I feel like the content really should like worms within the system. Let me put it that way, right? It made me really focus on the business. One thing I liked about the program was that it was practical. Like I could just take something I had learned and apply it straight to my business, right? And it brings me to the different aspects of the program. I keep using this example every time I'm asked about the impact AWEC has had on me, which is that for my sales training, there was the module, the sales module, right? We were asked to pitch to different channels or different customers, different customer personas. So I had supermarkets because we sell to supermarkets. I had individuals because we sold to individuals as well. There's this store that I'd been working on for 1 year that I couldn't really took my sales assignment, put it in a document and sent it to them. And we landed the deal. And that customer has helped us, put our products in like 21 different cities in the country. So it's like the impact was really great. And I really loved those tasks, right? The assignments themselves, they sort of helped you, they forced you, like you had to do it. For you to deliver a good quality assignment, you really had to search your soul, search the soul of your business, and really, figure out where the issues are to respond appropriately to those questions. So for me, one of the very best aspects of the program, apart from the monthly sessions, the peer meetings, the business clinics, the assignments were really good. And then all those, they had like documents that you had to read, like reading guides or reading aids to help you with the assignments. I really love going through each of those. They were short, interesting anecdotes, business anecdotes. So those helped me really well. The assignments were like the best parts for me. So which parts were did you prefer in all the different elements of the programs? Which one was your favorite?
No, I mean, I think I have to agree with you. I like the way you chose your favorite, but still highlighted just how great everything was. It's very difficult to choose a favorite. But like you, some of the assignments have really stood out for me in different ways. I don't know if you had to do that in Cohort 4, but we started our journey from different perspectives. So from a personal perspective, from a management perspective, like your juniors, your clients, or those you serve. That was a really powerful exercise. It's an exercise that I still talk about, even as I deliver leadership training of how valuable doing something like this is, because it really helps center you, identify your values, your principles, and is a roadmap for the kind of world you want to leave behind, because, you know, irrespective of our intentions behind running of our businesses, whether they're social ventures or whether they're not, there's still a very community-focused approach to it. There is a profit-making approach, and there is, you know, leaving, I believe, it really stuck out from my journey with AWEC, this idea of leaving the world a better place from when you came into it. Now, to complement that, I think my mentor, especially, we had two mentors, but certainly one of my mentors remains to be such a significant part of my own journey, both when I provide that space where I mentor others, like learning from him. I had Frank Linena, who is just great, and the way he approached his mentorship with us, the way he created a safe space within our own peer learning sessions, it was fantastic. And just like you mentioned, I really admire your story on your own journey from a sales perspective. I think for me, a confidence thing in terms of projects, it's identifying sort of what risks you're going to take and weighing them a bit, but having a mentor like Frank and having the sisters that I developed as part of my peer learning space, some of them I'm still in touch with, just gave me that confidence to do more, to take on more, to realize my ability more, to so I took a lot of risks during that year in AWEC, but it was also such a milestone year for me in terms of portfolio size, the kind of projects we applied for, in terms of expanding my team, going into a physical space. You know, as a consultant, I delayed for a long time. So the sisterhood, the mentorship, the peer learning space, and that just constant challenge, whether it's through our assignments or through the spaces that were created, the learning spaces, both physical and virtual, were just really, really integral to where I am today, both my personal professional journey as well as my business journey. So there's a lot of people, and I love the fact that you applied obviously twice, and you pushed through and you persevered because you understood the value of that. There are lots of people who may be in the fence about applying, and there are others that may also be on the fence about reapplying if they've been rejected before. What would you say to an African sister who's on the fence about applying?
Like, you know, my initial response, my like default response is don't even think about it before you just go ahead and do it. But you know, people may seem like, oh, I'm promoting, maybe I have, because I've been on the program, I don't have a choice but to promote it. But honestly, right, I don't know how to express, I don't know which words to use. Maybe I should speak my local dialect. Just apply, just apply, right? And you don't enjoy it, come back to me. Like, come and challenge me. That way, come and challenge me. If you get it, you don't like, just come and challenge me. Like, I'm giving you my guarantee that it will be like the best, one of the best programs, entrepreneurship programs around. And I have attended a few, not just a few. When I say a few, like I have attended my fair share of entrepreneurship programs. And this is one program, right? When I meet people in the internship circles, right, a lot of people are looking out for programs that have some sort of maybe a grant at the end, or credits at the end. And I say, yeah, go for it, right? Your business needs funding, small businesses need funding, sure, go for it. But I still tell them, you need to apply to AWEC. I feel like everybody should start from there before you now start, should I say, looking out for those programs that have maybe some monetary benefits at the end, right? Because when you have the kind of solid foundation that AWEC gives you, right? Yeah, you are then you are sort of set up for success in subsequent programs, right? Even the AWEC is like, the program is all encompassing, apart from sales, marketing, dedicated to helping you hone your pitching skills. And if I might add, right, at the end of our program, we did have a pitch competition, which I won. And I'm telling you, I don't know if it continued after our cohort, but I won the first pitching event. And again, it's skills that, AWEC built up in me, and I was able to use those skills, to actually win the competition. So I feel like really AWEC is a good place to start. There's no monetary, but even the connections that you get at the end, I feel like there are things that you cannot place a monetary value on. You talked about your mentor. Same thing with me. My mentor is like one of the best persons ever, and we did go on to have a relationship beyond the program. He's actually on my board of advisors till date. Get from the program, you can't find it anywhere else. So I mean, to anybody that might be discouraged, maybe from a past rejection, or not sure if it's worth it, because it's an intensive program. It's a 12-month program. I'm saying just go for it. It's the best place to start. And even if you haven't started with AWEC is going to bolster any other thing that you've learned, or any other program that you've probably attended. Yeah. So agreed. Yeah,
I wholeheartedly agree with what you were saying. I mean, I think that there's, the one thing that really resonated with me with what you said is also it being the right time for you. So don't look at a previous rejection as it meaning that AWEC is not suitable for you. It's just AWEC should be coming in at a certain point, in my opinion, of your entrepreneurial journey. Identify that through the application process. So one thing that I would say about, irrespective of I don't know what the application process looks like now, but generally speaking, it's not too cumbersome. So if you're worried about like a really thorough vetting and provision of so many documentation, it's actually quite a simple, straightforward process. So don't let that put you off. If, like you're saying, you're focused on looking at things with monetary values or benefits, like, some people are looking for things that can take them traveling and stuff like that. I think with AWEC, there is room to certainly meet in different global locations, but the value, like you highlighted, of what you gain that stays with you even longer than some of these other investments last is something that cannot be underestimated. I mean, the fact that I'm cohort 1 and I'm still able to have that conversation with you shows that when you join AWEC, you're part of a community that you do not leave. You get so much and you're able to give so much back, which is such a valuable experience. I'm Egyptian. And obviously, like I mentioned to you, I'm based in Sierra Leone. Both of these countries, I believe, always have a really low turnout of participants based on my experience of the AWEC journey. So whatever is holding, I would say, some of my African sisters in parts of the world where there isn't as much representation within AWEC, sort of challenge yourself and push yourself forward within that space. It may be that, you have certain impressions or perceptions or needs that you feel are not being met. Another great thing that I find about AWEC is that it's a community that hears, what you need. They will listen to it and create that content and provide it so everybody can get what they want out of it, and really focus their attention on what it is that they need for their business. And as women, something that really stuck with me in one of our recent gatherings as AWEC women is that individually, as African women entrepreneurs in the companies that are functioning, we are only able to do so much. We are doing a lot. We're making, certainly significant strides, but collectively, as women across the continent, imagine what we can do to create conducive spaces for women and businesses all around the continent to really allow everybody to get access to the kind of opportunities and growth that we're able to access. And I think that can only be done in a community like AWEC. So
Absolutely.
Unless you feel you're not able to dedicate enough time, because I do think, like you mentioned, you need to be committed to giving to get from the program, I would say put all your perceptions and biases aside and go ahead, take another risk. You're already taking risks as businessmen. And with very, very high returns.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And do you have any advice you can give to future applicants, maybe concerning the application itself? I mean, I feel, I personally, I would say, don't take it for granted, right? The quality is really high, right? And it is extremely competitive, right? But just be yourself, express yourself naturally. And the people who are vetting the applications, you know, they are seasoned, they know exactly what they're doing, and they would see the need, right? If you qualify, you would definitely get in. So, but, you know, what I always say is don't take it for granted. You know, being someone who didn't get in on the first try, right? The second time around, I made up my mind. I, you know, read the questions, gave specific answers. And I feel it applies to so many other applications, even apart from AWEC. Even when you're doing grant applications or, you know, putting in maybe a response for a proposal, right? Look at the question, focus on what, and that's something I really love about AWEC, right? They give you questions, and not just questions, they also give you prompts on how to answer the questions. And I feel once you're able to focus on the prompts, just give responses to those prompts, it should be easy, right? But I feel like, you know, what any applicant should bear in mind is that it's an extremely competitive process. And that's because the quality of the program is really high. Do you have anything to add, Maryam?
Yeah, I like the be true to yourself. I think you should approach it with honesty. I think a lot of people feel like they need to be something to get access to these spaces. You know, AWEC is very much about embracing the diversity within our continent, both in businesses and approaches to leading businesses, just focused on, like you mentioned earlier, foundations for success. So approach honestly. Answer every question with the honesty that you can. Look into the data. There are some questions related to the data of your business, at least back in our days when we're applying. So delve into it. Don't let that put you off, but give yourself time to prepare. I think a lot of us also rush these application processes. We're very close to the deadline. We try to put something in and then say, why didn't I get it? Plan yourself well. Look at it. I always feel it's always good to look at the process and identify how much time you need, because different people will need different amounts of time, and then plan it so that you're able to complete it even before the deadline. And reach out. I mean, like I mentioned, we're a community. So if you have any questions about AWEC, that come back to this part being on the fence, reach out to other AWEC sisters. Most of us have it with pride all over our social media handles. So, you know, reach out to people within your community, within your area, or people even doing similar business to you, because you can find that information even on the AWEC pages, and ask for their advice and ask for ideas on, you know, what they benefited, so you can also understand why this program is for you. The other is, it's not so much to the applicants, but to those who finally get it as well. You know, make the most of it. Like you mentioned, this is a highly competitive process, very high quality output. A lot of us, I believe, who've been part of it in different ways, always look back and say, oh, I wish I did a little bit more of this. I wish I, you know, spent more time reviewing my sister's businesses and assignments and things like that. I think, you know, try to approach it in a way, just like how you approach your application. You give the most and you get the most, and you really benefit from being part of this community. But certainly go for it and apply.
Great, that's it. Thank you so much, Maryam.